yeah, sorry, I'm a bit overexcited. No, I'm one of those positive people. Have we got any positive people in? Oh, the front's quite miserable there, aren't you? No, it doesn't come naturally to me. I've had to do loads of that self-help recently. Give me a cheer if you've done any of that self-help. Okay, not enough of you. What's going on in this room? Too much confidence or a lack of self-awareness? What's happening, guys?
Hello, Fiona. Thanks very much for coming to talk about that set. How did you find the set?
Yes, I enjoyed it.
What were the new bits that you were talking about tonight?
The new bits?
Yeah.
Well, Barry. So one of them was a line about therapy.
No, I was going to quit the self-help. I was going to do therapy, and I said to my mum, I might do a bit of therapy, and she went, oh, God, why? She went, they'll only tell you it's my fault. And I went, oh, right, yeah. And she went, well, I've told you now, save your money.
I've told you, so save your money, like, don't bother.
Oh, right, she was doing it from a practical kind of like value perspective.
Yeah,
like,
we're working class.
It's always your mum.
Yeah, why are you spending £100 on therapy?
We know what the answer is. The answer is me.
So that was one bit, which I think
that went really well tonight.
Yeah, they liked
really
that,
which
is nice, because that is the first time I've said that in a set. So I did it once in my show and then first time in a set. And then the other bit was towards the end, which was a bit risky.
But no, I knew it wasn't going to work when we were sort of sat watching the telly with him and his dog, and he just looked me in the eyes and he just went, I just didn't know I could love a dog this much. What is wrong with people?
So it hasn't got a punchline yet, but I just feel like in the moment it's just like, I can't believe someone would feel like that was okay to say that to you. Because it really felt like he was sort of...
Going to say it to you?
Yeah, really did. But it was not to be. But it got that reaction that you just gave like, well, where's the next bit, Fiona?
In terms of detail, so when I heard that bit and when you told it there, it's almost like when you said it back to me, you're like, yeah, I thought it was funny, but then I was waiting for you to laugh and it didn't happen. Like, how much would you then go and in detail rework a bit? So, like, when I heard that, it's almost like I did find it funny, but I was waiting for the permission to laugh or the rhythm to laugh. Like, there's a way of saying it where it's like, you know, if you laugh, if you end the joke on the idea of the funny idea, then it's like, ta-da.
Yeah, whereas there's no ta-da moment with it, and I felt that as I said it.
Yeah.
So, well, basically, I've got a load of stuff that I'm trying to work on at the moment. I've like highlighted it all different colours, and that would be a bit that is just like, you've said it, but now you need punchlines for it. So I need to find a punchline. The other bit was about a recent relationship that broke down. So again, that's quite raw. Which, from the reaction, I feel like it came across.
Kirsty, though, she was like, this is not your person. She said to me, I'm not saying that the way you speak to each other is like an unhealthy relationship. I'm just saying if you were on Love Island, like there would be a few Ofcom reports, like this shouldn't be happening. Because also, he was into like all that like meditation and crystal stuff. He used to wear this thing around his neck called lapis lazuli, like a big crystal thing, and the reason he said he sort of like was honest with me is because that meant that he could only be honest, like the crystal, it was like the power of the crystal. Yeah, it just meant that he had to be honest, which is weird because at the time I was like, oh my God, I really love that about him, how lovely. And then when you break up, you're like, oh, why don't you take that lapis lazuli and just shove it up your arse, because that seems to be where you're talking out of.
When I'm sort of giddy with it and light with it, it's okay, because again, I did it in my preview recently. And again, I think because they like me and they're like, oh, good for you. But when you do it in a short set and you're like, oh, by the way, I did some self-help, I was single for ages, oh, then I met someone, then it broke down, then they're like, bloody hell, is she all right? She seems like the problem. Whereas over a longer narrative, I feel like they're like, oh, okay, no, we get you and we understand why you react in certain ways to certain situations and why certain things seem to keep happening to you. And I think that's another thing with new material, it's not necessarily what you're saying. You can keep saying the same jokes and the jokes are good like on their own. It's when you finally get the right angle on it. It's like, oh, this is how she feels about this subject. And I think...
How she feels?
Like me.
Yeah.
Like, for an audience, they're like, oh, it's a funny joke, but how does she feel about these things, and what is her point of view on these sorts of things?
Have you got a bit of material that you have had that journey on?
Maybe, I think I'm trying a bit at the moment about like spirituality and stuff. I feel like that one could come through.
I did meet someone last year, right? Because my friend Kirsty, she actually gave me some tips. She said if I wanted to meet someone, she's into spirituality, right? Which is where you've done all the self-help on this planet. And then you go to another realm, like she's into that. She loves it. And she said to me, she was like, if you want to meet someone, what you do is you don't go to bars, you don't go on Tinder. What you do is you get these little crystals. They're £2.50, they're a bargain, they're worth a go, right? She was like, you get these little crystals, and she was like, just pop it in your bra. And she said, that'll attract a man. That's going to bring you a man. Yeah. Do you know what scares off a man? When you take your bra off and a load of pebbles fall out.
That one is a bit like, even today my nephew's around and they're like, Fifi, can we have some of your crystals? And I said, yeah, take them. They're not doing it, they're not working, you can have them. So now they've got like little crystals and crystal books. So it's like again, it's that hopefulness. It's like, I really hope these magic rocks work, but also the results. They're not proving themselves. Like, they need to get to work, and they need to get to work quicker.
Yeah. And that line, so I mean, just then, 2 amazing lines, right? Firstly, I don't know if you use the magic rocks. Have you used the phrase magic rock?
No.
It's a fucking great line. Just like the magic rocks are working. But then the other line that you just naturally said there was, what was it? Can you just take them? They're not working. Like,
They're not.
The idea that somebody would buy the gems and just go, there we go, right. Oh, for fuck, it's not fucking working.
Yeah,
like,
bathed them in salt water.
But it's very funny, the idea of the immediate response. Like, it's almost like, you know, you buy something and you expect
immediate impact.
When am I going to get the result from these magic rocks?
I am quite impatient, yeah.
But, like, you know, what's interesting is the juxtaposition between your mum's attitude, almost like, which is in you, this working class, like, element of, like, what am I getting from that? Because my money's worth something, my time's worth something. Am I getting anything from these fucking magic rocks? There's even calling them magic rocks is a little bit demeaning to the rocks.
Yeah.
But there's that tension between, and also the tension of believing it and wanting to believe it as well.
Yeah.
Like there's that's kind of like a. And do you play with that tension much? Because like a lot of your stuff is about kind of both wanting to believe and then being struck down by reality. You know?
Yeah, I think that probably does come across, because there's always like that hopefulness bit, and then it's like, oh, I think someone said that I was knowing. I was quite. It's almost like, you know, when someone says, oh, she's not clever, but she's streetwise. I feel like that's like that with me. It's like, oh, she don't really know what's going on. But actually she does know. She's just choosing to ignore it. She does know what the world's like. She's just hoping for better.
Yeah.
But I think that is who I am. On a Monday, I might really believe it. And on the Tuesday, I'm like, well, nothing's happened. So
and just to say kind of a final thing, so the gem that you kind of, the nugget that you've taken from today is the therapy thing. Do you think you'll do the, so you did the mum therapy, you did the stuff in common, the guy that was...
Yeah, I feel a bit bad about that.
Why?
But it did work. I did meet someone. You know, they say like opposites attract. Like, I didn't want that. I wanted someone I had stuff in common with. So I like boxing. He didn't. But if he did, we'd be in the same weight division. He was a very tiny man. No, it's fine. But he used to do this thing that, like, when we'd walk past sort of an alpha male, he'd sort of like puff out his chest and act like a bit of a geezer. And I'd say to him, I'd be like, babe, you don't need to do that. Like, what you want to do is you want to get on your tippy toes. That's what you should do.
We were talking about this, about how, because, like, if you're saying something mean about someone, it's not, well, like, do you get their permission to say it?
Yeah.
But then I think because I've always spoken about my mum or my dad or my sister or whatever on stage, and they're like, whatever, I don't care. I always feel like everyone's fine with, and my friend Kirsty, like, she's the one that does the spirituality, like, she's a psychic. She's never been like, oh, you don't talk about that on stage. She's like, oh, whatever, Fiona. Whereas actually in this recent relationship, he was like, what are you saying about me? And can I hear it? And can I sort of have sort of editing power over that?
Wow.
And I was sort of saying, well, they don't know who you are. They'll never know who you are. And it's only parts of you. It's not a full picture. But I think some people they don't like that. And I get it. I don't know if I'd like someone talking about me or so. I've never had to think about it but then my personality is, here's everything.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'll tell you anything and everything about me. So I don't know. I can't understand someone else's mindset of, you said that about me. And it's like, yeah, they don't know you. They're not equating that to you.
Yeah, there's not a picture of you on stage.
Yeah, I'm not holding up and like giving your date of birth, your passwords and your name and your address and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's no kind of like, you can't really have that negotiation, but you know, most people don't really understand, like, you know, it's like one of your sketches. I tell you what, you could use this.
Yeah.
You know, you get a lot of that.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. So yeah, I probably will do that bit again.
Fair enough. Just because you're frightened that you might be in the audience at some point.
Yeah. It's from North London. I'm like, oh, God. Maybe I'll choose where I do that bit.
Yeah. So people from North London don't leave, so it's fine. They don't go outside the boundary. But thanks for coming in and chatting.
Thank you for
and doing
having
the
me.
gig.
Yeah.
Really
Thank you. I
appreciate
enjoyed it.
That was great, but you know, you need therapy.